Hey guys, so I'm gonna make this one more video and then I'm gonna try to get on live and do some readings. Um, Tired, but okay. So basically, what I'm wanting to do is I want to show you Sebastian's mapping that I did. So I did 2 different time frames. And remember, this is all alleged for entertainment purposes only. Yada yada. So I did the 10 o'clock because she said she heard a thud. I think there's some sort of um truth to that. I think that's when the fight broke out or everything got crazy according to the chart. So I went ahead and I mapped that, and then I also mapped the 6 o'clock time frame of when she said that he left the house. So I know that some of it doesn't make sense. I don't know what to say, but I found something interesting in both of the timestamps. So I'm gonna just go over like some things that are some areas that I'm pulled to. And I know that Steven's going to try to look into it. He's still skeptical. I don't blame him. It is what it is. But um, what was interesting is, months ago I got that there was going to be a fisherman that was going to find him, and that there was going to, they were going to call the cops. There was going to be a boat with cop plates on it, and yada yada. That was a prediction that I made about 5 months ago. I had never seen the AMAP Syntex. I've always talked about a bridge. I've always talked about fishermen finding him and things like that. So what's interesting is if you go search the map for Sebastian, because I wanted some validation, I wanted some clarifications. Um, the AMAP says the same thing, and railroad tracks. So all of these things I've mentioned in previous readings, I did not see the AMAP until last night, and I had actually already started to do the 10 o'clock time frame. It was like Spirit wanted me to do that one to see. Now, it's hard to say because it depends on what time you use. Like, you're supposed to use the time that the reported missing. That's why I went ahead and did 6. I think the one before was for 3. Um, So, and I'm learning to do the mapping, and I just get really overly curious, and so I'll spend hours doing it because I'm just like, well, I need to see if it hits in this one area. What's interesting is there is a spot that I keep going back to that we have 2 lines from different time frames hitting. But what I don't find coincidental is what AMAP is, what she's saying about him being sunk off of a bridge, about him being found by a fisherman. Um, all of those things are things that I had said, and I'm just now seeing it. So I'm like, well, that's really validating. The other weird and crazy thing is in a live, I was telling Steven that I was pulled to the Windsong area, and there was a Windsong actually in Bradley's, and I said it on a live. And I told him, I said, it's weird. I'm like pulled to like this Windsong area. And well, it turns out Windsong is in the AMAP, and I thought that was freaking crazy too. Um, So I wanted to point those things out as a sort of validation. It makes me feel a little bit better about what I'm seeing as far as, because I saw like once they find him, like there's going to be kind of a warrant served and all of that. Like that was in my vision. You can see that in you can see that in the video. I have a whole playlist of all the videos, and it's like random vision or something. Could Sebastian be found? Is like a 6-minute video. So I have the ball. I got brand new balls tonight, and it is Halloween, so they are very touchy tonight. So just so you know, you're going to be seeing them go off. The bear just went off a little bit ago, right before I filmed the Delphi one that I just posted. Sorry, my mom had called and I was on the phone with her and the balls just started going off and I was like, you know what, I need to record this. So different balls were going off. So I find that interesting. Okay, so what I wanted to do here was show you Sebastian's new maps. And again, we were talking about the A map. So I'm going to show you that really quick. What she's saying. And it matches. It's just for validation because I just found it and I've said all of this before already. And you can check her out. She's pretty accurate. Uh, so the reason why I hadn't pause it while I'm looking for this is because, and I know that Steven talked about this earlier, but I wanted to. The balls are still going off. Okay, I'm gonna read like some of this really quick, or I don't even have to show you guys. I can just read it to you. That way you can still see the balls, because for some reason you can't see them like that. Okay, so the letters and sounds that make the name Sebastian Rogers can be arranged. Give us some clues if we dare to listen. A sobering star southeast is an anagram of the missing boy's young name. Missing young boy's name. And it is pointing into the direction that could be very well in his location. His name is directing this writer to the idea that Sebastian could very well be located in a southeast direction, while a sobering star could easily be telling us to pay attention to the planet Saturn and where it aligns from his home without out into the surrounding area. And here's her A map for locations. One of the areas is lock 4, which I find interesting. She doesn't have the one area that I'm really drawn into, but she does have this one. So she's pretty good at location. Um, but I will show you guys the map that I did. I think she uses his birth chart. I used the crime chart. So in the maps above illustrated with the blue line, Sebastian's Sun, Mars, Mercury, T-square to the planets, Saturn, Uranus vectored over the home and moving over the terrain into the surrounding area. The red lines illustrate Moon Neptune opposition and is accumulating from the early Sunday, February 25th, up until the time the moon was complete from the opposing Neptune when he was reported missing. A link to his interactive map. So you can go here and look. You can just type in a map Sebastian Rogers to see the map that she has. Now this is interesting because I said this. If you go into my everything has a a playlist. So if you go into the playlist, again, you'll see Can Sebastian Rogers Be Found? And I talk about this right here. The words rise, boat or snags, another arrangement of the letters that make up Sebastian Rogers. In my opinion, this is a very hopeful anagram of the person that belongs to a missing person. Optimistic, and that is as the weather for boating unfolds and around the Henderson area, Sebastian will be found in or when or near the yellow hotspots located on this map, very near or in the water, perhaps where the land is boggy. If you need a little shove into how powerful our stars are when we are born, let me explain that Sebastian at birth had both his sun and Mars measure 15th degree of Sagittarius, which is the same numeric digits that are appearing at the age of the mysterious disappearance. Not only that, his natal Mercury measures at sunrise 22 degrees of Sagittarius, which in total degrees celestial longitude can be expressed in 226 degrees, which can become the date 226 for when he was reported as missing. His Sun, Mars, and Mercury are all operating together as they tangle in the squaring aspect of 90-degree angle. They make two planets, Saturn and Uranus, at his birth. Something sudden, Uranus and debilitating Saturn occurred 226 at the age of 15 for Sebastian Rogers. Uranus is also the planet that the stargazers give rulership over the railroad, which has been mentioned in readings, while Saturn and Jupiter are two planets I consider to be those that rule over bridges, which came in the reading, which I've been bitching about. Bridges. I don't know what bridge, but there's a reference to a bridge. It very similar to Gannon and how that whole situation, how he was thrown off. Like I get the similar thing. Ever since Saturn moved into Pisces early in March 2023, I've been concerned for bridges here in the United States, which I think a few did fall down, right? Now I'm concerned for the bridge in the matter of Sebastian Rogers. Also hiding inside the name Sebastian Rogers is the word treason. If you anchor the word treason, which means act of deliberate betrayal, it suggests to me he was deceived somehow. When I anchor the word treason, I can rearrange the rest of the letters to the anagram base rigs treason. What base rigs treason? Could that mean home base? And I have to mention his astrology chart states 1 degree, so something happened in the home. It's either 0 degrees or 1 degree that something happens in the home. From my understanding, and I am not an astrologist, but this is just what I'm learning. I'm learning a little at a time. I'm barely scratching the surface, and I've just learned how to map. So, I know what you're thinking. His name is Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Yes, I know. It is too very telling. Yes, sun sank bridge water area. Or could we write it as yes, sank sun water bridge area? As each of these anagrams are Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. So either way you want to say, it is disturbing phrase of words belonging to a boy that has been missing for what is developing into 3 months already as of this writing. Also disturbing as of yes, sneaks a rare town bridge. A rare town bridge makes me think of a railway and the bridges trains used to move over the water. These types of bridges certainly don't get traffic. A regular road bridge sees every day. Could this be could this be what's rare about the bridge? Think Henderson, folk. Think what about your bridges moving over water, whether for car or rail, could be accessible, the cover of dark, and have something rare about it. I did look up a rare bridge. There is one by Shelby Park, which is another pool that I have. It's on the other side of Heartland, which was an area that I had a pool. So there's 2 areas I'm kind of torn between, and I don't know if it's because of Sebastian or another reason. But the one area up by Mount Juliet Cedar, like I'm always drawn there, which is by Lock 4. So I don't know if he was at Lock 4 or there, or I'm just getting within miles because we can't. My question on those of you who are not stopping your search for Sebastian, what could you read into this one? Yes, sneaks a rare town bridge. What is rare about bridges in your area? If I'm correct, and it's going to be a boat sonar that comes across Sebastian, which I stated 5 months ago in May. I think what was May 5 months ago, whatever 5 months ago was. Again, the video that I put out because Spirit would not leave me alone was a fisherman finds it with sonar, and then the cops come. So if you haven't seen that video, go watch that video. This is validating that to me. Everything that I've said in my readings is validated in this, including what I'm about to come up on. Which is kind of what I told Steven. I said, you can still look. I said, get your fishing pole and go act like you're fishing because a fisherman's going to find him. But it might not be Steven's karma to find him. People get found how they're meant to be found when they're meant to be found. You can look as much as you want to look, and it always happens to be just happen the way that it's supposed to, right? If I'm correct about it's going to be a boat sonar that comes across Sebastian, which of your rail bridges have deep water enough for a boat to mender? And can any of you wives start asking your husbands to get out there and start fishing? Sadly, search parties don't find the missing more than the public does on happenstance. See what I mean? So let's go get those boats out and start stirring the water. And I agree with that. I mean, that's what I saw too. So this just validates it. And I just saw this yesterday. So it's just validating. Someone, I didn't even think to look at this to validate stuff, but sometimes I need proof behind what I'm getting because people don't listen to me. So it's nice to have the validation and proof that I'm not the only one seeing it and getting it, and that it's literally in his name as part of his syntax. Man, look at that ball go. Sebastian's stars are matching. What is the name? What his name is revealing: bridges and water, which has been coming in. You'll be glad to learn that I also found the word arrest, thank goodness. I found the words in his name to tell me, yes, bake, arrest, Windsong area, which is so freaking weird because I don't know what live you guys were in, but I was telling Steven I was drawn to the Windsong. And then Bradley had a Windsong area, and I was like, there's that Windsong again. Because I got that song, Windsong, You Stay on My Mind. So when I saw this, I was like, holy crap. So to me, the heat is on, and it looks like it goes all the way east to the Windsong area. So don't leave out any bridges heading along the way on roads that lead us to any area near Windsong, just for good measure. The sun and Saturn don't direct there at the time of disappearance, but the moon Neptune opposition does. So something a bit hinky about Windsong area, which is a jump south of Gallatin. Below is a link to Sebastian's interactive map. So he has a she has a link so you can go there and check it out. So that's basically what she has for. I wanted to share that because it validates my reading. And again, a lot of people don't want to listen to the bridge that I've been talking about for a long time. And the fact that he's going to be probably found by a fisherman. And again, he might probably not be found by Steven. He's probably going to be found by a fisherman with sonar that's out there fishing. And then they're going to call the cops. And that's the vision that I saw. When I don't know. Rods gave me December 2024, but I don't know. Rods are kind of iffy on that. But so I was supposed to do a live last night and I didn't. Instead, I got onto this mapping. So now I want to show you. Now I do have to show you the screen for this. I want to show you the 10 o'clock time frame. And again, lock 4 seems to be significant, which is kind of the area I keep going to up there by Mount Juliet. Now, EVP said freedom. The Freedom boat is right there. The Cedar is right there. It's just a place I keep being drawn back to that I can't leave alone for some reason. And what I found interesting is in the 10 o'clock time frame and the 6 o'clock time frame, we both have lines that go there. The 10 o'clock time frame, we have the Saturn line, and the 6 o'clock time frame, we have um the IC line, which is the end of the matter. So I find that kind of interesting. That's the only place where both lines hit in different timestamps. It's kind of crazy to me. So I do think it's got to be relevant in some way. I could be totally wrong. I don't. It's interesting. The balls just went off at that time. Hopefully you guys will be able to see the balls as I'm doing this because they are just going wild. As the veil is thin tonight, as these are new balls, they're very sensitive. So they are just going off. They've been going off since I sat down at this computer, not before. All right. Let's see, which one is this one? This is the 10 p.m. So I want to share with you. I'm pretty sure this is the 10 o'clock. Yeah. Okay. So I've done this myself. I don't know how accurate it is, but I've learned how to, the balls are still going off. I have learned how to kind of map, and now I've kind of gone a little crazy with it by doing different times just to see. Now seems like when the fight happened. So again, I don't know how accurate it is. But I found it interesting that most everything goes to the southeast or the east area. Okay. I also did the rods and it gave me 16 miles and took me to the same place. So I don't know. We have the pool, we have the rods, and we have 2 lines taking me to the same area. So what I found interesting was that our Mars line hits right there at 9 degrees Aquarius, right in the water. By kind of Drake's Creek area. I found this interesting that the sun still hit in the water just a little further up, Old Hickory Lake, right? It's still considered Old Hickory Lake, but it's up above 2 Foot Cove up here. These are all areas that kind of been pulled to. But what's interesting is where the Saturn line hits is this is the place I keep going to. So it's by Mount Juliet. You guys have seen me talk about this area. You've seen me talk about the Lone Branch access, the Cedar, all of that. This is an area I continue to go back to. I don't know why. Spirit constantly takes me here. Man, that ball just is going, going, going. It constantly takes me here. And Freedom came in, and there's a Freedom boat right here. I found that kind of interesting. So I don't know what bridge, if he just ended up here, if it's for another reason. I'm really not sure. But this measures 16 miles, which is what the rods gave me up the river. So I don't know. We also have, let's see. I mean, these go through lock 4. So, up here is where she has circled right here at this part of lock 4. And these are the other lines that go through here. Windsong is here. Fucking so wild that was in his name. We have this is hit right here at the edge. Okay. Bledsoe is an interesting spot that I was interested in, but we don't have any lines that go there. Not for this timestamp. I also found it interesting that the descendant line is very close towards the Proudfoot's home. It's for 10 miles, so it stops just short. Here's the other areas that I mapped out. But really, I think we need to focus on the river because of what I've seen as far as the boats finding him and as far as what she's saying as well. So that just made me feel more confident in what I've gotten. I don't know what bridge though. So pay attention to the Saturn line in this one, okay, and where it's hitting. And again, this is a spot I always end up at. I don't know why I get pulled here. I just do. It can be within miles too, but this is the same area I get pulled to. I'm not sure why. I seem to always kind of get pulled here in lock 4 and go back and forth. I don't know. And I've told Steven that a few times and he kind of doesn't believe it, but I don't know what to say. So I can't help where I'm pulled to. And so that's the 10 o'clock time frame. I don't know how accurate that is. Then we have, I'm going to show you the 6 o'clock time frame, and I'm going to show you the interesting thing. 2 different time frames, a line hitting there, and the IC is the end of the matter. And that was Saturn that hit, which is usually a body. And what's interesting is his Saturn is not retrograde, so I don't know why he hasn't been found yet, because usually when Saturn is in retrograde, but again, he didn't go missing when Saturn was in retrograde, but usually that means they're easier, a little bit easier to find. But yeah, you can go back to all of my readings and see where I've mentioned a bridge, see where I've mentioned him being found and all of that stuff. So we just have to be patient, unfortunately, because he's going to be found how and if and when he's supposed to be found. We're still trying, but you know what I mean? It's you can't force things, unfortunately. Everything has its way. So then this is interesting because look, we have the IC line this is the 6 o'clock time frame. We have the IC line that's hitting here as well. So the IC is the end of the matter. Saturn is the body. I find that very interesting that at 2 different time frames, they're hitting the same area that I keep getting pulled to. So then I won't be able to leave it alone. And again, lock 4, he could have been at lock 4 and ended up down here. I don't know. Because she has this area circled right here for lock 4. I was told this bridge was not possible. So I don't know about any of the other bridges. It's supposed to be a weird bridge. I don't know how he would have gotten here. I just know that we have 2 lines that are hitting here. This is a heavy, I guess it's going to be a place where people tend to fish a lot too. And all the astrology puts them in water, unfortunately, from everybody. It's not just 1 or 2 of us, it's every single one. So I can understand if we were reading it wrong, but so the other area I was kind of interested in just because of the bridge. So this is a conjunction right here. I believe it's Chiron and North Node, I think. Yeah. So they're both at 17-degree Aries. So they go through these rivers. Now, it should be ending right at the degree, but these are air miles. So keep that in mind. But it should be pretty accurate. Or we've been finding bodies found somewhere on the line as well. So this, I'll tell you now, the place that I got with the rods that I made the other video about was Heartland. Okay. As I was doing the rods, I heard Heartland. Since Steven's putting it out, I'll just put it out. So that was kind of a pool area. That was also a catch area for him. I don't know why, but I didn't realize there was actually a Heartland there. I was doing the rods for a totally different case, and I heard that. And so there's a Heartland Park and a Ravenwood. But what's interesting is, and this is an area I do get pulled back to, the 2 rivers I find interesting interconnect with Elijah, considering that Elijah came in the since considering Sebastian came in Elijah's reading, I find that interesting. There's a 2 rivers there. The 155 is another pool that I have, but the 2 rivers area is interesting. But see, here's the really interesting railroad bridge that I was checking out, because look, 2 Rivers Park can be definitely an interconnect with Elijah, because he went missing from 2 Rivers. And again, this is the other place that I'm drawn to. So these are two places. There's just these two places, and I don't really know why. So there is an interesting railroad bridge right here. I think it's a railroad bridge. No, maybe this is a regular bridge. This is an interesting bridge, though. No, this is a pedestrian bridge. That's not a railroad bridge, but there is a railroad bridge here somewhere by Shelby because I was looking it up and I couldn't find it. So it's one of these bridges here. So this is Shelby Bottoms. I think it's this one right here. So this is a 6 o'clock. This is when I think this is this is the train one right here. So I find that interesting. Because it's an interesting bridge. It's a railroad bridge. Shelby is kind of a pool to me. So this is the other area that I'm kind of drawn to. Considering the Heartland isn't very far, considering Two Rivers is right there. That could be an interconnect. Knowing how we work, we've seen Perry hit multiple cases. We've seen other words hit multiple cases. So how this works with the timing and the interconnects with the names is kind of crazy. But I found this interesting last night. I just marked the wrong bridge. So let me delete that bridge and mark this one. That way I don't confuse him. Unique. UNIQUE real. Okay, so this has also got a lot of the kind of stuff that came in Elijah's reading with, and even his, more of this type of area with smokestacks and things like that, piles of things. And the front of my throat is hurting right now. The ball's still going off. So, it does go through here. It does end at Mill Creek. So, and there is an airport there as well. I find it interesting. It hits Mill Creek at the right degree, but deep water fishing is what we have to think about. So there is an airport there. Hamilton I've gotten before. Barry I've gotten before. I don't know exactly how far away, if it was further up, and I don't know. And it ended up here. You know what I mean? So I find that interesting because the unique. This was another pool, this Chatham Wildlife, but I don't know why. I find it interesting that the line hits in there. So I'm not sure why. That's been kind of a pull to me as well, but I don't really know why. So, and then, there is a line that hits into the Mansker Creek. I did this all by myself, guys. Aren't you proud of me? I did this instead of live, although I needed to. I can't remember which one it is. I think it's 24 is a pool too. So I'm just saying, like, I think it's his Mercury line. Yeah, it's his Mercury line that goes into Mansker Creek right here. Higher up Mansker Creek. But again, I don't know how fast the water moves. But he does have the Mercury line hitting a little bit past Mansker Creek this way, right here by this Rivergate Dental. Because I know that's a spot that Steven is really interested in for some reason. But yeah, I'm kind of interested in the Shelby area just because we have Heartland here, we have Two Rivers there, we have Shelby here. We do have lines going in that unique railroad bridge. So that's another, like, there's a lot of stuff I've gotten here before, and I keep getting pulled this way. So I don't know if we've got two bodies in the water that I keep getting pulled to. But again, I find it interesting that the IC line and the center line hits here. So those would be the two areas I would try to focus on. But again, I don't think he's gonna be fine. He's gonna be found happenstance, in my opinion. And the ball is still going off. So he's gonna be found happenstance. Like I said, with the vision that I had, it matches the A map. And I know that Steven's trying hard to find him, but I told him, like, you might not find him. You know, you might not, it might not be your karma to find him. It might not be something that you are. Everybody gets found by who and when and how they're supposed to be found. Stephanie Parze was off the side of the road for a long time and nobody found her. Then these two random guys walked up on her. Usually it is happenstance. Usually it is not searchers. Usually it is not police. And I really do feel like he's going to be found by a fisherman, and then they're going to call whoever they call, cops or whatever. I just kept seeing a boat with the lights. So the AMAP, the Syntex validates my entire reading about the bridge, the water, a boat finding him. And it seems like his conjunctions right there with the 17 degrees means that once he's found, stuff will start moving. But since she mentioned the Windsong area and the southeast, I would go back up to Lock 4 and that area because that is an area I continue to get pulled to. I don't know. If Cedar Mount Juliet Lock 4 area is right, Spirit, can you please touch the balls? I know you've been going crazy with those balls, but can you touch the balls for me and let me know if that's the right area? Or should we do Shelby? Is Shelby the right area? Southeast, if we're going by the Syntex and the way that I get pulled all the time, which I don't know how they would have had time to do that because apparently 6 o'clock, a car leaves for about 30 minutes unless they were handed off and it was done later. That's a possibility as well. I'm kind of wondering about an affair and if there's another male that knows, not Chris. Chris was proven to not be there. Oh, interesting. Okay. I don't know what that validation was for, if that was for an affair or not. So, Spirit, can you validate Mount Juliet Cedar area? If that's the correct area roundabout? Okay, what about Lock 4 area? They're very close together. Is that the correct area around there somewhere? You can just validate with the balls and touch the balls if that's correct for Sebastian Rogers. Okay, well, interesting. Thank you. I appreciate that. I didn't expect you to actually answer me. Thank you. Okay, so that's where I would kind of focus that search. And again, my rods also said that Steven probably wouldn't find him, that he was going to be found randomly by fishermen. But I mean, things can change. We can get lucky. The rods are, again, hit and miss. But all I know is what I saw. All I know is what's in the Syntex. The Syntex matches what I saw. And I just saw the Syntex. So I'm really using that as a validation. Like, that makes me feel more positive about stuff. It's nice when things get validated like that because, like I said, I can tell you all day long, but you're not going to listen to me unless somebody else says the same exact thing, right? Unfortunately. And so I was trying to show that to Steven, like, look, I'm not the only one saying it because he's skeptical regardless. That's the Virgo in him. So thank you, Spirit. So should we the veil is so thin tonight and my balls are brand new that they're so sensitive that I love when it's like this. And it's not even the one that was like going off crazier earlier because there was the one in the front that was going off like mad, and now this is the one further back. Okay, Spirit. So we need to focus on Lock 4 area. Oh, the bridge is what's throwing me. I don't know what bridge that he would have been taken off of. Like, unless it was done really fast and no one saw. I don't. I've got to get live and go do readings. I just wanted to share that with you guys. So am I looking in the right area then? Lock 4 and Mount Juliet, Cedar area. And I know we say, well, it can't be this bridge, it can't be that bridge. I mean, who knows, right? Yeah, I want to turn this off. They can just keep going and going and going. So am I looking in the right area? Because southeast would be that area. It wouldn't be Shelby. I just know that Shelby's a pool for some reason, and especially because of the weird train thistle that's right there, train trestle or whatever it's called. But Lock 4, Mount Juliet Cedar area, Spirit. Is that the right area for Sebastian Rogers? I mean, you already answered earlier, but a double answer would be nice if you want to touch the balls for me again. Am I looking in the right area? Because I've always gotten pulled up and I can't, it's like thank you. When I go in the other direction, it doesn't feel right. When I go too far past this area, it doesn't feel right. And I don't know if like he's there now or he was going to end up being there, or I'm not really sure. Like, I don't know. I just know that that's been a pool for a really long time. And now we've got 2 lines hitting there from different timestamps that I find interesting. And then her AMAP is circling Lock 4. But her AMAP circles a lot of little creeks that go under bridges and stuff. But we have to think where Fishman going to be and where would it flow out into the bigger area. So I don't know if they're answering that I'm in the right area or not, because it's just going, going, going. All right. I need to get off here and do lives. Thank you so much, Spirit. I'm wanting to do live tonight, and then I'm wanting to do EVP, depending on how I do with the live readings. And then I probably have to let my dogs in because it's cold outside, and then we'll do the EVPs late into the night. That's what I'm hoping to do if I can last that long. Because the villa is thin, and look at this craziness. Like, these balls just won't stop. They are awesome tonight. So I don't even want to turn off this video because it's validating. So it's craziness. But thank you so much, Spirit, for validating. I sincerely appreciate you. And all right. And they're stopping too, so it's not like it's like stuck. You know what I mean? I just need to know if we're right, Spirit. I'm gonna wait till you're done real quick, and then are we right? Are we in the right area? I mean, I don't know the information. We'll see. Found by a fisherman, though. I bet you anything. But it's got to be around there somewhere. Okay, thank you. I mean, that's area southeast. So when I start to go towards Shelby, I'm like, but the Syntex does say southeast. That is the area I'm always pulled to. That is the area I go up to. I think that the reason that we ended up going the other direction, because Steven wanted to go that way. He just didn't want to, he was questioning so much that why they would be up that far, was because the lady that was just found the skeletal remains needed to be found. So it could be that's why we were both pulled in that direction, because that was going to happen. Remember, as a psychic medium, we get pulled in all different directions because different energies pull us. So if it's not Sebastian, it's somebody. But the fact that they are, and the bear went off last night when I was talking to Steven. Once I'd said that to him, I was like, I think we were just supposed to find this girl. And I don't know if that has anything to do with Heartland Park, because Heartland Park isn't too far. It's like 7 miles from where they were found. I don't know. Unless there could be somebody else over there, and why I'm feeling like drawn to Shelby, I don't know. But again, the Syntex is saying southeast, her map is saying southeast, and we've got 2 lines hitting that direction. And my rod said southeast too when I asked. So I would look in the water in southeast. Bridges, paying attention to bridges and areas where he would come from bridges. So I would go any bridges, even if you don't think they make sense. Because there seems to be, and I don't know if there's any weird bridges in the southeast because I haven't seen any. But maps are so different. So Spirit, if you can tell me southeast is the correct direction, by touching the balls, I would sincerely appreciate that. Over by Windsong, the southeast. Thank you. Okay, well, I mean, you can take that as validation, but they are going off a lot, so. I'll probably cut this or something, but I don't know. They've been going off the whole time, so. All right, I'm getting off here so I can go get live and do what I need to do, and I hope to see a lot of you there, and I'm trying to do it as fast as I can. I know it's late. I know it's Halloween, though, so hopefully people will be up. I'll see you guys then.